Okay, so let's talk about going from insecurity to inner security. Now, here's the funny thing. Quite a while ago, I stopped wearing my wigs. So I like to call them hairs. I don't really like the word wigs, but I have so many different wigs. I stopped wearing the wigs, my hairs, my colorful hairs, because I was incredibly insecure. And I needed to strip everything back. Like, I needed to take away the wigs, I needed to take away the makeup, I needed to just everything. I needed to strip it all back because I was constantly worried what people would think of me. And in fact, it was when I decided to strip it all back, stop wearing the makeup, I wear a bit of lipstick. I'm not against makeup at all. But for me, I mean, I can never really apply it right anyway, and my skin, when I'm healthy, doesn't really need it anyway. But part of my practice, once I gave up the need to impress people and the fear of what they thought, part of that practice was just stripping it all away. So the funny thing is, in order to become more authentic, I've been, just using my real hair. But at the same time, now that I'm over the insecurity issue, what's more authentic for me is to be wearing my hairs because I really enjoy it. So that's a weird juxtaposition, but sometimes you have to really deconstruct to reconstruct. And because I had it was a crippling fear, guys. Like, my fear of what people thought. I was constantly worried that they would think I was fat. I was constantly, my ears are tucked under. Look at this, ready. There you go. So, I don't know. Before, I used to feel also worried that people would know I was wearing wigs. And it's like, well, I am. It is what it is. Like, it's a normal thing. It's what people do. So, when you are constantly basing what you do to avoid people thinking something negative of you, that's when you can't be authentic. That's when you're going to continue to sabotage yourself and create things that you really don't want to create. Now, for me, for those of you new here, over the last decade and a half, since I first started doing energy work and immediately started sharing it with others, and after about 2 years of sharing it with so many people around the world, I started charging for it when I was in Bali, and just like really small, like $20, I think it was a session, just like to get myself started. I had so many mental health issues. I had PTSD and social anxiety, and my hands would shake at the idea of doing this, what I'm doing now, talking to you, being on camera, letting myself be seen. I had so many fears and insecurities from being constantly bullied growing up and feeling like I wasn't enough and feeling unwanted and resented. Wait, really should fix this beforehand, but it is what it is. Okay. So I know what it is like to feel unwanted. I know what it's like to feel insecure. I know what it's like to constantly be worried what people think. Now, this insecurity inside of yourself, it really does come from experiencing a lack of love when you were growing up. Now, some of you may have had the most loving parents ever and could still feel this insecurity, because it's not so much about really what happened, it's about your perception. So sometimes it could be that, a parent had her own demons or his own demons and was withdrawn, and which is withdrawing love, because if you're not feeling love, then that's withdrawing love. But it wasn't about you, it was about them. But as a little child, we make it mean everything about ourselves, right? And so you will think as a child, well, that's it, mummy's upset. If only I could be better, then maybe she'd be happier. Or, she doesn't love me right now, things like that. And it literally gets looped as a program in our mind that runs. It can run every day for the rest of your life. It really can. And this is why it's so important to be willing to face yourself, to find out the causes of the insecurity and not just try to paint positivity on top. Now, I am all about being empowered, being positive, but at the same time, you have to know how to dance with the darkness. There's massive toxicity in the positive thinking movement right now with best intentions. Like, for the most part, 99% of it is best intentions. But what do they say about the road to hell is paved with good intentions? Right? It's just because we don't know what we don't know. And we can only learn through trial and error. So right now, we're learning. And what people will learn, like I have learned and like I teach and share, you have to be willing to dance with the darkness, to go meet your shadow, to go into the dark, vile, hateful, jealous, resentful, mean places within yourself that you like to push down and pretend aren't there, and that you project out onto others, and literally they will play out your feelings in your face back at you, and you can blame them for what they're doing. But it's because you have that program inside of you. And the more you repress it, the more you try to be positive without willing to look at the negative. And then, this is it, use your positivity on the negative. You got to use your positivity on your negative. Not ignore the negative, not just always be happy. No one can always be happy. Did you know that trying to be happy all the time is a negative experience? Because it's impossible. As humans, we are so much more negative than we really like to think, because we have so much inside our unconscious, so much pain that we've just pushed down so we can cope, so much shame that controls our ability to show up, to be seen, to share who we truly are. So just know that this may just be your sign to come and do some more energy work, some emotional healing, some alchemy. Now, I'm not just talking about receiving energy. Now, there's a time and a place for that, yes. But I'm talking about the real, deep, inner work that actually has the biggest impact in your life, which is self-psychology. It's an advanced type of talk therapy where you learn how to go in and you look at your true motivations, your true intentions, which are not what they seem to be on the surface. And when you understand that who you think you are isn't who you really are, that you are actually, well, first of all, you're a divine being, and our job on earth is to learn how to purify our emotions, which is emotional healing, emotional alchemy, so that we can open up and be in service for God, the divine, infinite spirit, Mother Nature, if you prefer, to fill our vessel with divine intelligence so that we can think from divinity and God can have an experience on earth. Right? It's not just about the stuff you get. Now, I love manifesting. In fact, my upcoming program, Quantum Keys, manifesting through emotional healing and stress release, is obviously going to help you manifest. But when you understand that manifesting, the first manifestation needs to be your feelings. Because otherwise you're going to try to manifest stuff, but why do you want the stuff? So what is it that you're wanting to manifest? Okay, what do you hope it will give you? Answer it. No, really, what do you really hope it will give you? Okay, now what do you hope that will give you? And when you keep tracing it down, it ultimately comes to a feeling, to an essence, to something intangible. But yet we're always trying to manifest the tangible things when what we really want is intangible. You want that feeling, you want the essence, you want to be in that state that having that thing, that you think having that thing will give you, right? Whereas what we really want is the essence. What we really want is to be connected to the divine. What we really want is to be filled with love, with peace, with joy. And guess what? When that happens, then you become a natural magnet to your desires. So what do you think? What are your questions? What are your thoughts? So whether you're here live or on the replay, I want you to let me know, does this resonate with you? Have you been more worried about what people think than you care to admit? Have you thought that maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it's actually everything? You need to be able to detach from your need of approval, because that's what I was saying, to finish that thread. So as a child, the reason why we get this insecurity is because we didn't receive the love that we required. Okay, now what's second best after love in a child's mind is approval. So because we can't get that love, we're constantly trying to get the approval, because at least when people approve of us, they're nice to us. They're not being mean to us, right? And so we're constantly going around looking for this approval and putting our entire identity upon whether somebody else approves of us or not. And now this was my journey, guys. You go back, you look through some of my old videos from even years ago. you just see the shame and embarrassment. I mean, even actually weeks ago, the shame and embarrassment has been written on my face, and I just had another big up-leveling because I'm constantly doing energy work. I'm constantly doing mindset work. I'm constantly doing spiritual study. Now, that doesn't mean I've been a monk. A lot of that was also mixed with a lot of partying and things like that, which I've recently knocked on the head a lot because it's just time. So I've been going through a bit of a spiritual reawakening all over again, and I had to develop myself into the person I knew that I needed to be to fulfill my life mission, which is to be a big spiritual teacher. I'm hearing the word wise, but I'm bulking at saying it because it feels funny to admit that, but I am pretty wise. I have learnt through experience. I'm wise because of all the bad mistakes I've made. I'm wise because of all the crazy things I've done, but that's not enough to be wise. I've learnt from it. I've asked, how did I create this? What thought processes, what feelings, what beliefs, what childhood experiences did I have that led to this happening? Why is this person acting like that? What is it in me that's causing that behavior to show up in my life? And as I've read and devoured spiritual texts and discarded some, found the truth in some, found lies in some, compared it to my own life and how it works for me. And so I've really haven't just been told this is how it is. Okay, that's it. A lot of Christians, or even literally even in the New Age, in all of it, people just told something, well, this is how it is. It's like, no, well, did you test it? Did you test it? And so I've been an experimenter. In fact, anyone into human design, HD, I'm a 3-5 line, the 3-5, the experimenter, and the martyr. I'm not sure. Anyway, I know what it is. I can't remember the terms. So my whole life path is about being an experimenter. And that's why I've had to really let go of some old aspects of my personality so that I could show up for you, for women who have their own purpose and their own mission. Perhaps you're even healing others, or maybe you just got this drive to create something. Yet it's so easy to create a shadow life because you're doing all the things that you think you should do, and you think you're being smart about it, but often you're avoiding your intuition, which lives in your body, by the way, because it doesn't seem like the right thing to do. When you can let go of how it should be and allow yourself to create and allow yourself to just say yes to this moment, to who you are right now instead of who you have been, then magic can really open up. This is when blessings happen. Also, when you pray, you may think of it as affirmations. I have people on two sides of the camp. They either come to me often with religious trauma. They saw a lot of, it just didn't really work. They felt disassociated from God. And then other people that came from me, either atheists or a spiritual vibe, and felt all alone, maybe growing up because they didn't know they had the power of God within them. Now, I grew up an atheist, and I'm really grateful that for me personally, not for everyone, but for me, I chose this life path when I was choosing to come to Earth, because I had no religious programming whatsoever, none. I had to find it all myself, and I got to. And this was the greatest gift, getting to discover God, the divine, infinite spirit, the universe, all on my own, because I didn't have any preconceived ideas, really. I just thought it was all a bunch of bullshit. But very quickly, I started thinking, yeah, but the whole universe is connected and we're all one. So even before I really understood or studied anything spiritually, I still knew that the whole fabric of the cosmos was connected. And then from there, that took me to believe, studied Buddhism. That was after I got out of witchcraft and into Buddhism. This was 20 years ago. And then I got into just spirituality and thinking of it as the universe and all these sorts of stuff. And then that led me to realizing, wait there, people talking about the universe, people talking about God are essentially talking about the same thing, just with different points of views. And some are dogmatic and all this. Anyway, my whole point, don't know what my point was, but I know what my point is. My point is that when you learn to embrace that your mission here is to work for the divine, in service to humanity, to give and create, and to understand that even though you may have parts of yourself, like I have massively had, that are very selfish and just want private desires, which, things you just want things for yourself that don't really benefit anyone else. And sure, you might on the surface think you want things to benefit others, but are you making goals and intentions that are weaved, the benefit of others is directly weaved into the fabric of it, right? And so when you follow the spiritual path and you're not just manifesting from ego, which when you manifest from ego, your programs, you can, but it'll be unsatisfactory and it will eventually crumble because only ultimate truth can last. And ultimate truth comes from God, the divine infinite spirit, the I am presence within your heart, right? And so the more evolved, and I'm not saying in a better way than anyone because we're all ultimately source and spirit, just the more, emotionally clear you get, the more you're able to see the truth, the less you fall for lies, the healthier you become, the more wise you become, all these sorts of things that you become, and the more connected to the Godhead that you become, the less manifesting through selfishness works for you. And in fact, things will stop working altogether, because if you manifest those next levels from who you are now, when you're not being in service, you won't create true happiness. So you have to be able to find those parts of your personality that is so entrenched in selfishness. And there's a good type of selfish, like thinking of yourself and really putting yourself first. But you put yourself first so that you can be in service to the greater whole. Yeah? So it's a whole thing. When you realize that happiness is a link in the chain of happiness and not a little thing that you get for yourself, and you discover the truth, which is to have true happiness, you have to learn how to give what you want away, even before you have it. Which means if you want to have happiness, find out how to make others happy. If you want money, find out how to help others have money. If you want success, find out how to help others have success. It really is that simple. Now, a big part of what I'm doing in my upcoming Quantum Keys 7-week intensive, and we start in 2 days, guys. So this is really your last chance to get in. This is a deeply powerful initiation into your ideal self, merging with your higher self, with the part of you that is connected to God, the Holy Spirit, your higher self, the spirit within you, the loving part of you, the most intelligent part of you. You're going to leave your old identity behind, upgrade and update your nervous system so we release anxiety, stress, fear, old ways of thinking. This is a full cellular revolution. This isn't just mindset work. We are literally initiating you into your new self using my somatic illumination EFT method, which is really a mix of like tapping, although I don't even always tap because that's not the whole point. Sometimes my breath work that I use is a main event, a lot of breath work, a lot of somatic experiencing, a lot of faith-filled prayer, advanced self-talk. It's really dynamic what I do. It's very interesting. It's very powerful. It's like going on a spiritual roller coaster, coming off the other side feeling exhilarated and lit up, and then blessings and abundances start flowing into your life. It happens for all my clients who go all in and do my work. So I used to have PTSD. I used to be terrified of being on camera. And I literally used to be terrified of being on camera. And through the method that I've used thousands of hours on myself over the years and healed so many things and have helped thousands of people around the world while I was going through my own mental health issues and healing them as well, it works. So if you want to find out if this is a good fit for you and find out your transformation requirements, we can have a free, no pressure chat to find out, whether Quantum Keys or even working with my one-to-one is the right fit for you. I never hard sell anyone. So you can hop on a call with me. Not sure if you're going to join or not. And it's really okay. As long as, you're actually ready and willing to make change in your life and you're self-motivated enough that you will show up and do the work. Because I don't want people that are just going to sign up and not do it. I'd prefer not have that money. I just want people who are going to sign up and go for it. Step through the portal into your true self. And this is what I'm here to help you do. So DM me Quantum Keys if you want to get the conversation started and book in a one-to-one session, a one-to-one consult just to have a free call to talk about if Quantum Keys is the right fit for you. And yeah, if you prefer one-to-one, I do offer 4 months, 7 months, and 13 months. There's a reason why I do it extra. It's because the magic genuinely happens starts happening you just put it a little bit longer out and even more magic happens than what everyone does with the 6 months thing. Okay, so anything else? Yeah, just remember to tune into your I am presence. I am. all your affirmations that start with I am, know that as soon as you say it, it is activated in the spirit world. As long as you say it with a knowing voice and you don't try to tense and make it more powerful. Just say it's like it's a normal thing, but in a meaningful way. I am the perfection that decides throughout this world. I am pure and I am a being of violet fire, right? Things like that. I am all my desires already manifested. And you repeat it and you say it and you keep remembering to say it. I am decreeing that people all over the earth receive abundance, healings now. Then you imagine what that might look like. People receiving rent money, people receiving upgrades, people receiving healings, you receiving healings. And you can send that off to the divine, seal it saying it is done. And it is done. So try that out. Let me know how it goes. And if you want to join us in Quantum Keys, now's the time because we do start in 2 days. So as a final reminder, just remember, when you go into your heart space and you feel around for the truth within you, take that breath and allow yourself to clear yourself so you can connect in with the divine. And then you can ask, you can decree, you can decide. And you know, on one hand, while it's happening now, reality has a lag time. And also, while it's happening now, you're going to be faced with things that are in the way. Right? You may lose things that you think that you want, but are in the way. Yeah? So if this is exciting for you, give me a heaven yes in the comments. I'm Clifford, your spiritual guide and energy alchemist. And yeah, I'll see you soon.